This is the second part of a series of 2 videos on simplifying square roots, review of Algebra 1 topics. And in this video, what I would like you to do is solve these 4 problems. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to write these 4 problems and pause the video, and then work out each one of these. After you pause the video and have solved the problems, then start the video again and check your answers. If you made any mistakes, then the video then works out each 4 of these to hopefully so you can figure out what you did wrong. So pause the video now. Well, hopefully now you've solved each of these 4 videos. Solved each of these 4 problems. So now let's look at your answers and check and see if you got the correct answers. If these are the 4 answers that you've got, then you're ready to go on to the next video. So stop this video now and continue with simplifying square roots with I. If you've made a mistake here, then let me work out each one of these in turn. So the first one is the square root of 180. So that when you're trying to figure out the square root of 180, then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the perfect squares. And it's good to have memorized all the perfect squares. The perfect squares are 2 squared is 4, 9, 16, 25. Right, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 squared. 36 is 6, 7 is 49, 8 is 64. 9 is 81, 10 is 100, 11 is 121, 12 is 144, and 13 is 169. That's probably enough to memorize. Now what you're going to do is you're going to find 2 numbers that multiply to 180, but one of them has to be a perfect square. And that's going to be, I think it's 9 and 20. 9 and 20 work. So that's going to be the square root of 9 times the square root of 20, or 3 square root of 20. So that's the correct answer. It's just that it's not completely simplified. Let's look at 20. Are there any 2 numbers that multiply to 20 where one of them is a perfect square, and it's going to be 4 and 5? So you're going to have 3 square root of 4, square root of 5. Square root of 4 is 2, so you have 3 times 2 square root of 5. When you have 2 numbers outside of the square root like this, then what you're going to do is you're going to multiply those together, so your final answer is going to be 6 square root of 5. Let's go to the next problem. The next problem was was 3 square root of 275. So let's find 2 numbers that multiply to 275. I don't think that 4 does. You go 275 divided by 4 and you get a decimal. I actually knew that because 4 is a multiple of 4 is going to be an even number. If you notice, this ends in a 5, so let's try 25. So you go 275 divided by 25 is 11. So you break that up into 11 and 25. So you have 3 square root of 11 square root of 25. The square root of 25 is just a 5, so then you have 3 and a 5 and a square root of 11. And now that you have 2 numbers outside the square root, you're going to multiply those 2 together, and your final answer is going to be 15 square root of 11. The third problem, minus 6 square root of 500. If you notice, anytime it ends in 2 zeros, then you know that 100 goes into it, right? 120 are perfect squares, so that's just going to be 5 and 100. So that's going to be minus 6 square root of 5 square root of 100. Square root of 100 is 10, so that's minus 6 square root of 5 times 10. 2 numbers outside the square root are going to be multiplied together, so that's minus 60 root 5. And our last example here, square root of 3200. Well, even though there's faster ways to do it, whenever I see the 2 zeros, I would immediately break this up into 32 and 100. So that's square root of 32, square root of 100, and square root of 100 is 10. So I have 10 square root of 32. And that's correct. I'm not done yet because square root of 32 can also be simplified. Let's see if I can figure out what is. It is 4 and 8 would work. But actually, it would be faster to do 16 and 2. It wouldn't matter. fact, I can do it both ways. If I did the 4, if I broke this up into 4 and 2, then I would get 10 square root of 4, 4 and 8. That'd be 4 and 8. 10 square root of 4 square root of 8. That's a 2, so that's 10 times 2 square root of 8. So that's 20 square root of 8. And 8 still simplifies. It simplifies into 4 and 2. So I have 20 square root of 4 square root of 2. Square root of 4 is 2, so that's 20 times 2 square root of 2, or 40 root 2. The key is that at each step when I simplify, right, I started here and I got to there, but square root of 32 keeps simplifies, so I simplify to there. 8 still simplifies, so you just keep simplifying and simplifying until you're done. I'm going to show you how we could have done it a little bit faster. If we would have stopped right here at 10 square root of 32 and realized that 32 is simply 16 and 2. Now, you don't have to memorize that, right? Because you have your perfect squares here. And let's do 32. I know that 32 is divisible by 4, that it's 4 times 8, but let's try 9. 32 divided by 9, 32 divided by 9 gives me a decimal, so 9 doesn't work, so let's try 16. 32 divided by 16 is 2, so it does work. So that's 16 and 2, so then I have 10 square root of 16 square root of 2. Square root of 16 is 4, so you have 10 times 4 square root of 2, or 40 root 2. And then you're done. And that's how you simplify square roots. Now that's a review from Algebra 1. The next video will be on simplifying square roots with I, and that's with complex numbers.